Assalamu alaikum. Wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah. So, for those who are unaware, don't know yet, they had the brother Shadid Muhammad a janazah for his son earlier today. Um, you know, and which I'm not gonna put his name in the title of this video, but just to kind of speak on him for a minute, man, before I read these couple of Quran ayats that I had planned. But you know, just letting people know, man, for those who don't have hatred for the brother, man, you know, to make dua for his son, man. You know, that's one person, man. That's one imam, one student of knowledge who really don't deserve the treatment that he get. And being somebody who was around long enough to see where some of it started, why some of it started, and some of the turmoil that brother has faced and went through. And, you know, to establish a masjid and to get the masjid up and to be benefiting the people, man, and then to lose his son, man. You know, subhanallah azim. And, you know, I hate to hear that for that brother, man. That man has really put up with a lot of unnecessary foolishness. It's just unfortunate, man. I think he got like, it's either 13 sons and one daughter or 12 sons and one daughter. But, you know, subhanallah azim, man. So, man, you know, make dua for the brother, man. You know, that his family give him the strength for him to continue on. I think they even got a winter conference planned. You know, just make dua for the brother, man, and make dua for his son. Because, you know, that's a difficult situation, man, especially for his life to be on display the way it has been. And, you know, just, man, A'udhu Billah, man. Let me say Tana Rajim. So these Quran ayat, man, that I want to read is two of them from surah number 22, 46. And it just kind of speak about what we witnessing in today's time and how to be prepared for it, and just to kind of bring ourselves back to that Islamic mindset, man. And, you know, the reminder, man, that this life is not a game. You know, anything can happen at any time to anybody. You know, even on my way home tonight from work, I just seen a car, you know, on one of the streets that turned into a highway, but it was a stoplight, and they had to be doing about 100, and just totally disregard the stoplight and everything. Just ran straight to that stoplight, going into that, you know, to the highway. And anybody could have just been coming and not paying attention to him, and, you know, he was going fast enough, he probably would have killed somebody, you know. You know, just little reminders like that, man, that anything can happen to anybody at any time, man. Like, at some point, man, we're going to have to realize, man, life is precious, man. You know, and just seeing some of the things that I've been seeing, man, and like over the weekend, you know, going to visit people, man, and hearing some of the conversations that they was having, man. And it had been on my heart, man, to talk about this Quran ayat for possibly since like last week. But let me get to it, man. So this Quran ayat is actually two of them, right? Subhanallah Adim, man. What 3? So, in Surah 22, ayat number 46, right? But we're going to read 45. So, Allah Azza wa Jal tell us that, and this is one of the ayats, man, that kind of changed my life, right? So, Allah says, many are the societies, the cities, the towns that we have destroyed for persisting in wrongdoing and leaving them in total ruin. So when I first looked at this, right, because as it go on, it says many are also the abandoned wells and lofty places, right? So some of them basically like even referring to places like Egypt, where you could look at the pyramids and the Roman cathedrals and Colosseums and all these different places all over the world. You know, old castles. Even in America, like you could see like older celebrities who had mansions and all that that's still alive, and they just abandoned them and got old Jaguars and Benzes all out there that just no good. They were showing an old mansion that like Sylvester Stallone had and how neglected that had been. He had all these fancy cars out there and they had just been sitting and they was just, you know. But basically this, but look at like the inner cities, man, the hoods. And then you look at a particular demographic of people that their whole lifestyle when it comes to the deen, even if they Muslim, it's just based off of wrongdoing. And then you look at the way drugs came through, dilapidated the communities, the family structures, which set up the system for gang banging. But just look at the neighborhoods, you know. And it's like this in a lot of cities, that you go through what they consider to be the inner city and see all the houses that's tore down, crime that they can't fix, unnecessary violence. It's just a society that has been ruined. But like Allah Azza wa Jal is saying, look at how many societies, how many cities, how many towns that Allah destroyed because the people persistent and continuing, they persist in just doing wrong. And then sometimes, I remember I was having this conversation with a group of Muslims, man, back in like maybe 2010, 2011 maybe. Like, just look at, you know, this Quran ayat, and they was like, well, you know, I don't feel like the town is ruined to me, you know, because they had a decent job. But how many kids, I mean, you know, as growing up as a youth, how many people you know that's dead for no reason, for gang banging? How many people you know done went to prison, man, you know, at an early age, you know, juvenile, just going to prison, man, for just foolishness. All these mothers and fathers on drugs, man, and kids raising themselves, and now you got all these teenagers, young people on pills and different drugs and super strong marijuana. The society, man, the whole system is just destroyed. Schools getting shot up from gang banging, the clubs getting shot up, just senseless violence from a society that's just basically built on wrongdoing. You know, it's just unfortunate, man. But just pay attention to that, man. Look at a lot of the inner cities and look at the youth and you know, these new gangs, and just look at it. Just look at it for what it is, and you will see a demographic, man, a particular society that's ruined. You know, Sometimes when I would ride home from work late at night, or sometimes I would just go out and hit the towns, and you could go to these bars where it may be one demographic of people, and that bar been jumping like that since the 60s. Nice crowd, people outside with motorcycles, nice cars. Every once in a while there may be an argument, but this place been established since the 60s, right? Even in 2025. But then right across the town or right up the street, there's a whole nother demographic. And any club, any bar, any place they frequent, it's always some shooting. So it's like even if you go to Chicago, right? You could be around some particular, we'll just say, non-black people. They don't even think Chicago is a bad place. But then you be around some black people, and it's like you dealing with people that's been in Vietnam. Mentally, they just always in a war. Even, being younger, man, when we used to run around, in the days we would wake up in the morning, and it was automatically, soon as we walk out the door, we was up to foolishness. To where you could see two different cities, and it's like this any city, not just Chicago. California, you just have certain demographics of people that live in the exact same city but don't experience the exact same lives as some. When you look at that, man, there's a particular society, man, that's ruined, man. So I'm saying that to say, when you look at Quran ayats like that, man, it's time for people to start to take heed, man. If we look at our situation and look at our dynamic, whether you Muslim, no matter what you is our situation fixable? Or are we ruined? And are we on display for everybody to see how ruined we are? So Allah Azza wa Jal says, this is happening, man, due to the people persisting in their wrongdoing. So Allah Azza wa Jal leaves them in total ruin. And many are also abandoned wells and lofty palaces. So this ayat, this is where it's saying, this is what made me reflect on it like it did. Well, Allah Azza wa Jal is saying, for the people who was warning against, have they not traveled throughout the lands, so that their heart might start to understand, to where their heart might reason, and then their ears might start being able to hear. So this is a deeper connection, something where you're more connected to the heart, instead of this type of stuff in this life and the things we seeing and it's been normalized. Our heart look at it, it's like look at this. Okay? So then Allah Azza wa Jal is saying, where their hearts might start to reason and understand, and then their ears may be able to listen, right? And then it says, indeed, it's not their eyes that are blind, but it is the heart in their chest that grows blind. So we see it, and we look at the society, just look at how people just unwillingness to help. Because it's not the eyes that blind, man, it's our heart. We see it, the type of situations, discussions that we have about the type of marriages and relationships and friendships. Like right now, today, even as Muslims, man, like helping people upsets us. Like you will see where people at the point where helping people upsets them. You know, if it don't give them some type of name or status or some type of clout or something like that, you know, it's crazy, man. But it's because the hearts have become blind, even to the point where something can be happening. Somebody can be pulling a gun on somebody and they really getting ready to shoot them, and everybody will take their phone out and record it, but scream after the person gets shot. They'll run, somebody call an ambulance, somebody call somebody. They start making the phone calls after the person gets shot. After somebody get in a car, they arguing and fighting, and somebody get in their car and run everybody over and wreck into everybody. Then they want to start calling the police and the ambulances and all that type of stuff, when they could have did that before it jumped off. But it's not their eyes that's blind, man. It's their heart. A lot of this stuff that's going on with the Muslim communities, the way we falling apart, way we falling into bid'ah, and just the way that we move it, and we know it's wrong because we see it. But see, it ain't our eyes that's blind. It's our heart. And like Allah Azza wa Jal is saying, man, when you walk through the land and see the people that Allah destroyed before us, the societies that Allah destroyed before us, and look at what they did, why they destroyed, what type of destruction that fell upon them. And then if we look at that and do tadabbur on these type of Quran ayats, then our heart will start to be able to reason it and start to understand when we look at it, and we'll start to make different decisions. But we don't, because it's not our eyes that is blind, but it's our hearts. You know, when you look at I mean, it's just a lot, man. It's this world, man, it's becoming a place of turmoil that's regular, you know. Even to the point where this is foolishness, but I happen to pay attention to it, not heavily, but one rapper decides to come out and make a statement and say, F the streets. So then a few other people all joined in and said, F the streets. But these are all rich rappers who've been out of the streets per se. But then you have another group of rich rappers who come in and argue with them, talking about how can you say F the streets and doing this and doing that. Well, all the murders, all the crime, everything that come with the streets, that's unnecessary. But they having an argument back and forth, and ain't none of them even in the streets, man. Because with the ones who can't see what it's doing to us, see, it ain't their eyes that's blind, man. It's their heart. It's their heart. And we don't even have the wherewithal to look and realize this is a destruction, man, that Allah is allowing to happen. Why? Because we persist in wrongdoing. Even down to the marriages, man. Even down to your most sacred relationships. Parent and child. Husband, wife. Brother, sister. Sister, sister. Brother, brother. Just siblings, man. You know. Is you know, it's not the eyes that's blind, man. It's our hearts. You know what I'm saying? We really need to do some tadabbur, man, some tazkiyah, you know, like we need to start trying to purify our hearts, man, and our nafs. You know. Because at any time, man, anything can happen to anybody, man. Man, that brother Shadeed Muhammad, man, like I say, man, a person who sacrificed a lot of his life and a lot of his time to teach people Islam, man. And that man had to have a janazah, man. That man had to bury his son today, man. That man had to wash his son's body, man. You know? I mean, you know, life happens to everybody. You know what I'm saying? But some people can't even see that brother's service, man. Because the hearts is blind. You know, too much slander, too much turmoil being put on that brother's name, man. You know, it's just deep, man. But let me get to this next ayat. But let me finish this one right here, right? So, again, Allah is telling us, man, it's not our eyes that is blind, man. It's our hearts. Anything going on, man, the first thing we're going to do is pull our phones out and record it. I don't know if it was AI, but there's a video right now of a guy standing on a balcony. And he looking over like, man, y'all gonna have to save me a plate and this and that. And then they got some barbecue grills and some people down there. And as the railing break, he falls from the balcony, actually fall on the grill, where some of the ashes and stuff get it on him. You know, kind of burn his elbow. He hit the grill breaks. He on the ground like, oh. Not one person said, hey man, is you okay? Not one person tried to help him. People just looking at him like, and this dude fell from a balcony and landed on a barbecue grill with meat on it, hot charcoal on it. And then a girl standing there tries to walk past him, and then she trips and fall over the grill and hit the ground. And the only thing I did when I looked at it, and people sharing it, and they putting a lot of laughing emojis and, you know, this is funny, I wish I didn't laugh at it. Which, you know, but it just goes to show, man, how our hearts have become. Like, not one person tried to help him or the girl who fell. You know what I'm saying? All they see, man, it ain't the eyes that's blind, man. It's our hearts, man. It's our hearts, man. We so selfish, man. It's crazy, man. But look what Allah Azza wa Jal tell us when you get up to ayat number 52. Right? So Allah tells the Rasul, whenever we sent a messenger or a prophet, especially before the Rasul, we sent them to recite our revelations. Right? But then Shaitan will influence the people's understanding of this recitation, of these wahi, these revelations that's being recited. So Shaitan will influence the people's understanding of the revelation. So not necessarily change it, but Shaitan will influence their understanding. Subhanallah Adhim. So look at this. But eventually, Allah will eliminate Shaitan's influence. Then Allah will firmly establish His revelation, His wahi, that He sent down. Is this going to happen for everybody that choose that? Because right now, today, you have Muslims that's so heavily under the influence of Shaitan, they can't understand this deen at all. You have Christians, they can't understand, they don't even really know the original, what was even sent. Same with the Jews, they don't even know what's originally was there. Because Shaitan also influenced the people to change those things. Just like Shaitan influenced people to kind of change certain things about Islam. They tried to. You know? But look what Allah Azza wa Jal tell us, right? And Allah is all-knowing and all-wise. But Allah Azza wa Jal allows this to happen. And He allows Shaitan to be an influence and a trial for the people who are hypocrites and whose heart are sick and the disbelievers and the ones who fall into kufr, where their hearts have become hardened. Surely the wrongdoers are totally engrossed in opposition. You have Muslims, man, so engrossed in opposition where it's saying everything they do is the opposite of what Islam tells them to do. See, Allah gave us this deen. He allowed the Rasul to teach it perfectly, flawlessly, act up on it. Even when the Rasul has to get admonished, the blueprint is there. But some of us as Muslims, we live in 100% complete opposition of what we supposed to do and how we supposed to live. To where we be backwards, man. Just sit down and think about that. And it's not because our eyes is blind. It's because our hearts, they blind, man. Like, imagine this. and this isn't nothing personal to nobody. I don't want nobody to take this the wrong way. But you can have two couples, right? One live in this house and then another one live next door. One couple think fighting, yelling, and bickering and going back and forth, that's love. They can't even recognize the relationship or see the love in it if it ain't a bunch of fighting and bickering and arguing. Because when people love each other, they got something to say about everything. It's when they don't have love, it's when they stop saying stuff. But then you have another one of people who can live next door, across the street, around the block, can be their brother and sister's relationship or something. And they know that's an unhealthy form of love. That's an unhealthy relationship. That relationship isn't going to last. That's going to be two broken people staying together because they got ties to material. But they may look at the other ones and be like, their relationship fake, they phony. Like, they don't fight, they don't argue, they don't think that's foolishness. But the point is, we backwards, man. We backwards. Like I said, in the then and now, and the unwillingness, the unwillingness that the sisters have to play a role with, as in being a helpmate. Even if it's turned down, the unwillingness is already there. I'll go get a roommate with somebody that I hate, that I can't stand. I'll go become roommates with my baby mother and do this and that, and we'll pay half and we'll do this and that. But then, if some people in love with each other, they're not willing to lift a pinky or give $1. You see what I'm saying? That we'll fake through relationships, but then through real ones, we can't show up. This is backwards, man. But it's not because our eyes is blind, man. It's our hearts, man. And this is showing, this is how Shaitan influence people understanding of the Wahi, because Islam will say we supposed to be this way and we supposed to carry it this way with another Muslim in general. That don't mean these rules change because this other Muslim happens to be your spouse, or this other Muslim happen to be your parent, or these other Muslims happen to be your children. That don't mean that the rules change. You see, Muslims have rights over other Muslims no matter what. And then when you do the extra stuff, there's rewards for you. There's sadaqah for you. There's zakats for you. These things that lead to Jannah for you. But we so backwards, man. Because Shaitan influence the understanding that we have of the deen. But Allah Azza wa Jal says what? Allah only allows that to happen to who? The hypocrites, man. The ones whose hearts is sick. The ones who done felt into kufr, and their hearts just done become hardened. And to the point where the wrongdoers is totally engrossed in opposition. They totally engrossed in opposition. You the opposite of what Islam tell you to do. And then when somebody shows you or say, practice Islam like this or go this way, you contest it. We become combative. You know? You just like imagine, man, like I ain't gonna go into it, man. But when you read this type of stuff, and it's not to put a label on anybody, because this I'm speaking to myself first. Okay. But you can see the blueprint for what's going on. Allah destroys societies, towns, cities, groups of people, tribes who continue to persist in wrongdoing, where they so ruined, in total ruin, they can't even fix themselves. I look at us, man, we can't go in, we can't sit up in a masjid and solve one problem, man. We can't even solve one problem. That's ruin, man. Imagine us having the exact same problem for 20 years. We can't solve one problem collectively in 20 years? Why is that though? Because perhaps we persist in too much wrongdoing, man. Perhaps we persist in too much wrongdoing. You look, to show you the backwardness, the couples that hate each other, that dislike each other the most, and don't even enjoy each other, they be together the longest. Because they tied to material. The ones who love each other and care about each other, some of them can't even make it 6 months. Can't even make it a year. Too backwards, too traumatized. You know? It's too much exposure. I'm afraid of being seen. It's crazy, man. But this is the influence that Shaitan, man. He influenced the understanding of the Wahi. Let me continue this right here. Look what Allah also says. This is also so that those gifted with knowledge would know that this Wahi, this revelation, is the truth from his Lord, so that they have faith in it, and so their hearts will submit humbly to it. And Allah surely guides the believers to the straight path. Yet the disbelievers will persist in doubt about the revelation until the hour takes them by surprise, or the torment of a terminating day comes to them. Think about that, man. Take a look at the America, and then take a look at the dwellings of a particular urban society that's infested with gang banging and a gang mentality and a shell shock mentality, even with the men and the women and the children just shell shocked and can't even collectively fix one problem. You can take everybody, your best, brightest minds, from every city and put them in a room, and we can't fix nothing. We can't fix nothing, but we gonna chase that dunya. We gonna chase that material though. We gonna get over, we gonna scam, we gonna plot. We gonna persist in continuing to do wrong, man. In our friendships, in our marriages, in everything, man. But it ain't our eyes that is blind. Because we see it. We know the problems. But see, our hearts is blind. We numb to it. It's regular. It's how we think it should go. But why though? Because Shaitan done influenced our understanding of the deen, man. We backwards. But anyway, man, let me get up off of here, man. Once again, man, y'all make dua for the brother Shadid, man, that that Allah give him and his family the strength, man, to deal with a very trying and difficult situation. Just to see, I'm just curious because, with the type of strength he had, he might be on the minbar Friday. He might be up giving a khutbah Friday. He might be continuing a class. The hadith class he doing with the sisters. I don't know, but, just make dua, man, that Allah give him the strength, man, and, make the dua for his son, And man, may Allah be with us all, man. It's time for us to be mindful, man, because it ain't our eyes that's blind, man. It's our hearts. And Shaitan, man, he's crafty, man. He can't change the religion, but he could change how we understand it. And if we sitting around being hypocrites and got sick hearts and falling into all type of kufr, he gonna have some success. Allah is gonna allow him to influence your understanding of the religion. And then you might running around calling yourself trying to be a teacher, man. It's crazy, man. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.